Hello and welcome back to another Unreal Engine tutorial. My name is Saragan. Apologies for being away. I've been ludicrously ill. As you could tell, my voice, even after 3 weeks still isn't quite back up to scratch. But I've been having problems, obviously trying to get well. So apologies for the delay in this video. Today we are going to be looking at the new gravity direction, but for multiplayer. We left it in the last video. If you haven't seen the last video and are not up to date, I will post a link in the description and a card up top if I remember. But this is where we sort of left it. You could run on walls. This is the blueprint version. This is a blueprint wall. I've added a nice happy little texture. And yeah, you can run. Now, there are several issues with the previous version I've done. Firstly, you can't run up the wall. That's something you can't do. That's easily fixed. I'll go through that in a moment. And the other aspect is that it doesn't quite work on multiplayer. Now, looking at my code that we did in the last one, I made a minor tweak here. I will leave this here so you can review and see if it is the same. But primarily, I believe it is the same. The main problem is we've got this set on tick. It really doesn't need to be on tick. Once you set this gravity direction, it's a single instance. You shouldn't have to set it again. So, in theory, first port of call for me, I think, is to put that there and get rid of that and then just have this set gravity. That should, in theory, still do the trick. Marvelous. So that gets that off the tick event, which for any developer of Unreal Engine knows that is a exceptionally good thing. We shouldn't have to keep setting that. That's just a one-off set. It doesn't persist. Now, the other issue, which we discussed momentarily, is that you can't run up the wall. Now, that is not a difficult thing to do. If you come over to your character and your mannequin, go to your animations and open up your ABP Mani, you can see under the update animations for set velocity that this does it over X and Y only. So what we need to do is get the vector length, which has X, Y, and Z, and plug that one in instead. And in theory, wherever my window's gone, we still can't run up the wall. Okay, 1 second. Okay, so that was a red herring, as it were. I recompiled my C++, and now it works perfectly fine. I don't know why the C++ was out of sync, but it now works to where you're looking at, which is sort of what you want, really. You want to be looking that way. You want to be able to go that way. The only issue we've got with this is if you're looking down, it's trying to still go through the floor because it's the camera look at direction. I do have a fix for that in another project. So when you come to the wall, it immediately snaps the camera to sort of where the character is looking. If anyone's interested in that code, I can easily do a video on that. It's not my code. It was one I found on a forum probably a while ago, probably about a couple of months ago. So yeah, that's fine. So that's sorted out the movement. Now the issue we have, if I set this to 2, and it takes some time, is here you can see that the character is not facing the right direction. He is on the wall, or she's on the wall. One works, one doesn't. Now, most people would be thinking it's not replicated, therefore has to run on server and things. Now, while this is good practice, because you only want to be changing this on the server should have the main priority, you can still see that there is a problem here. This is a very easy problem to solve. And for some reason, it didn't seem to be documented anywhere. It took a while to find. But if we come down into the character movement, and you have ignore base rotation for walking. Tick it, because what you'll find is now both are facing the right way. I don't know what the base rotation does, but or why it's even necessary. I would have thought if you've replicated gravity, it should always go off that gravity, but base rotation seems to have an effect on that. But now this is all working fine, and we got multiplayer in gravity and multiplayer, and this does work in 3 players. So if we grab 3 when they all kick in, being ridiculously slow today, must be doing Windows updates. But we now have on here 3 working perfectly fine. And the C++ of this is exactly the same. If you want to execute on server, then you just need to set this to run on server. So in here we've got this blueprint callable. Need to add server and reliable onto here. And in here, set gravity actor implementation. Once it finishes building. So that's built. Do I have a... Yes, I do. So in here... I put in a flag for using C++ gravity rather than the other one. So now in here, once this loads, should have just done 1 for the moment. Can now use this one, and because we've got that ignore base rotation, which one is that one? There we are. It's our 3rd, and now we've got all 3 happily replicating, no problem. If you're looking for the ignore base rotation, this is on the character movement component here, and it is b ignore base rotation. You just need to set that to true, and it will get the same thing as the other version. But that is pretty much it, guys. There's not really a lot to making this multiplayer safe. It really is quite simple, just a minor change to getting rid of it off the tick event, moving it to an execute on server, which I do highly recommend for multiplayer, as the server should have overall control and authority over the gravity direction, not the clients. And that ignore base rotation flag. With that all replicates nicely. If it's not replicating, be sure that you are you have your component replicates on there, and your replicates movement on here. That's the only other flags I would imagine that would cause a problem. But that is it, guys. Thank you very much for joining, and apologies for the voice. I'm still trying to get that back. But I hope this is helpful, and I will see you next time, guys. Bye for now. Bye-bye.